Well, hello, everybody. I'm Chester Not Known Dwayne. This is Spiritual Ranch. I'm the Off Grid Oracle. I'm doing a night read here now. Try out some of this nighttime energy. My plans got changed today, so I was tired, man. I got up early, got up like 4 and everything. Worked kind of late last night till like midnight, trying to get ready to go downtown or wherever. And so I got up early, so I was whooped. The plans got canceled, so I was kind of good. I came home, man. I made a pizza on top of the wood stove there and filled my belly with that pizza, and I was out, man. I took like 3-4 hour long nap, And so kind of got a little energy right now, so I figured, well, fuck it, might as well do a nighttime read, right? And so it's been interesting here lately, with ascension and everything, because like I've been definitely going through my ascension, and it's been God is so powerful. God works in such mysterious ways in our lives, and it's only mysterious when we pretend like it doesn't exist, and that's when we're not seeing it, And that's a lot about that. What I talk about here on this channel is kind of like the main reason that I decided to go on YouTube in the first place. There's probably other outlets where maybe I can get to more people, but I don't know. I'm not very good on the internet, It's hard enough just to do YouTube. And so, but nonetheless, it's been. I always have listened to the tarot. I've listened to astrology and to the tarot on the YouTube, and it's always been a very powerful tool for me for divination. For sure, because the messages that I've picked up on in the past have all proven to be true. For certain to my timeline. Like if you know how to understand it and read it, and you gotta sort through it because like not everybody's reading your energies. But there's such a large number of individuals that are on there doing this energy work and reading energies and stuff that you can find your collective of energies that are working in the same frequency as you are, And I, for my whole life, I've been trying to find that higher frequency. I've always vibrated on that higher frequency. I've been a very high energy person, and that's off-putting to others, and so there's been a lot of real positive encouragement that I've received from the spiritual community in a disconnected sense. It's because like there's been that gap. Like when you're on YouTube, it's not the same as even like on like Instagram and stuff. Like YouTube's one of those where it's like you don't even know the people. Like we all know that. Like and so I mean maybe you do. Some people, right? But for the most part, it's a real broad audience. So it's very different from like the interactions that we have when we grant access to people like on Instagram. I don't mess around with all that shit. I'll do like the Instagram and everything because I feel that they're so predatorial, and it's like it seems to be like it's a lot of bullshit too. It's like people are kind of they're trying to get you to perceive them in a certain way, So it's real like catered to the viewers, and then you select your viewers too. It's not just open to the public. It's not like just anybody can watch it, And so it's kind of a lot of pomp and circumstance for a group of people that believe their own bullshit, So it's like you can kind of create a microbiome around you that feeds into the lies that you're creating with that image on Instagram or whatever, or on Facebook or on any of these other sites, and it can like be skewed in authenticity. I think That's how I felt about it. It's more of like a with YouTube, you're really it takes effort to even get noticed, like a lot. Like it takes a lot of effort and you got to have something that's worth noticing. Like you're really trying to draw a crowd. Like it's still predatorial. It's like you're still trying to draw a crowd, but it's not low hanging fruit because like if you're good at what you're doing, if you have good craft, that's kind of what shows through in like your views and in your popularity there or wherever, instead of it being like a fucking kind of like a bait and switch kind of deal, like you can meet people in the real life and then you're like, oh, look at my Instagram or whatever, and then you can have them kind of lusting after a version of you that may not quite possibly be who you are in the real life. And of course, YouTube is that way too. But YouTube's not a practical tool to play that game of the whole like runner chaser game. Yeah, it's got a little bit more professional like purpose or whatever. It's not just for playing games kind of. And so I like that. That's good. It's high pressure. That's why it's the only one I fuck around with. Honestly, it's the only app I fuck around with. The only thing I do on the internet, other than occasionally I Google stuff and I watch Alex Jones, and that's it. Infowars, Craigslist is still like but it's a ghost of the past. It's kind of not what it used to be, but that's where I found these dogs that I'm going to go look at. So it still has its use, but it used to be a little different, but it still is the same. I try to get work on Craigslist now recently though, and it seems like a dud. It used to be a great place to get work, but I think people are doing more of that on Facebook. So, anyways, I'm just rambling at this point. So, God gives us access to these things. I see nowadays, to put the word out there is what I was trying to say. It's important that we really do that. That we have those opportunities to try to connect on these levels. And so that's what I like about the YouTube, because you can use it to spread a direct message versus using it to try to just like lure people in, socially. And so that's powerful, and so that gives an opportunity for like-minded individuals to connect in the name of God Most High and in our spiritual strengths, because we can connect spiritually. That's what I found on YouTube, is a community of people that I'll never meet in the real. I don't even like, even in the comments section, you don't even have a conversation with these people. It's like they do their thing, you do your thing, everybody can watch or whatever and learn from each other. But there's never going to be that like, it's like never going to be a situation where you're trying to like be something to impress somebody to get something from them. Really, it's a broader audience where you're trying to show everybody what you got, and then you're hoping that you can attract people that will bring abundance into your existence because of the gifts and talents that you have. That's a cool tool. That is. It's really a cool tool. Even if it is somewhat censored, because there's a lot of people that complain about it being censored, that you can't say this or you can't say that. And I don't know. They don't block what I'm saying, but they don't, I don't know, maybe people don't see it, so maybe that's what they're talking about, but they're worried about the popularity contest more so than I think what they're worried about what they're saying, because I would rather say what I'm saying if it's still getting out there, it's not being blocked, like anybody can listen to it, and then like, fuck it, the people that aren't getting that message just because their algorithm ain't set for that message and they're just not meant for that message. And so even if it's just a handful of people, which is bound to be, then that's good. That means God's work is working. And that's what we're trying to do here. Right? So, anyways, I don't know. This could be a long one, short one. We'll see. We got some bath water heating up on the stove over here, so we'll see. You're most I love you. Everything that you do, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm trying to use some of the nighttime energy over here. Get out a message out here. Maybe speak some wisdom or whatever. Share a little bit of what you share with me all the time. Everybody out here that's looking in from the outside, because we're on the inside here working together. I appreciate the hell out of that. Thank you for making me good queens for spirit, I say spirit my way here with the messages that you have for us to hear and the messages you have for me to deliver, Thank you for being the fire in my heart, my fire in my soul, being the light, God Most High, doing everything in the sun, Thank you. Yeah, we love God, right? We do, We gotta remind ourselves that. We gotta remind everybody around us about that, That's how we make God powerful, is that when we mention God, That's just like spell work, it's called spell work because they speak that shit into existence, And if we're all running around here hush up on God, we're not speaking about God Most High and shit. If God should be mentioned or God should be given credit or God should be the topic of the conversation, that's what it should be. That should be the conversation always, because God should be the only thing that matters to you, to any of us. And if we all stood in that light and that union with God, and we spoke our truths, so that we knew that the only ears that mattered, the only ears that needed to hear that truth or are gonna hear that truth is God Most High, So we ain't gonna be telling lies. We ain't gonna speak out of a forked tongue, because we know damn good and well that the only one listening is Most High, because that's who blesses us, And that's who makes us powerful. That's who makes us so strong. That's who wipes them tears off our faces when we're crying, and that's who like puts Band-Aid on our knee when we fall down and we scrape it, and that's who like picks us up out of the mud, or like gives us a hot chocolate when we're wet and cold, man, out in the rain. And so, of course, we need to be saying thank you. You got to give mention to that. Give grace to God, man, always. It's like that's where our blessings come from. And so I'm just a reminder of that, and that's what I'm trying to be best in. Like I want my light to shine because good Lord gave me lots of light. Because they knew I needed that to traverse in that darkness. And so they were bright light for me, and that's a big blessing. And so it's my duty to show the whole world that no matter what, even in the darkness and everything, then that the God, good Lord, is the shepherd, man, that drives us home. And that puts us in the green pastures and fills our hearts with love and confidence and security that nourishes your soul. And that makes you an eternal being that lasts forever. And you never have to fear death, You never have to fear God because you know God as you know yourself inside, And that's when you become the universe that you are, And that's magic. That's magic shit, That's that shit that them karmics try to fucking do fake ass shit on their altars and stuff. Trying to imitate it, What we gotta do is just teach them, We gotta teach them that it's the fact that they want to do the magic. That's the good thing. That's the main thing. That's most important because they acknowledge that it exists. It's like even the devil knows what the fuck's up. Like the devil knew that they were gonna lose that battle the moment they started it, but they just couldn't help it. Like that's karmic. That's karmic energy. It's like when we fucking are sitting there doing stupid shit. And we're like watching ourselves, we're like a little monkey on the tree watching ourselves. We're like, man, that motherfucker's gonna fucking fuck himself up right there, But we can't stop ourselves, We won't listen to that little monkey, and that little monkey is getting its rocks off, watching us fuck ourselves off. That's karmic energy, That little monkey in the tree, that's your karmic ancestors. They're sitting up there because they ain't never got nothing right anyways. They're still swinging in the trees, And they don't want to fucking watch you succeed down there on the ground in your two-legged fucking position, We're all kind of in that boat. That's why we got kicked out of the garden, We were listening to that shit. We were listening to that fucking primal shit. We didn't want to fucking step into the fucking ethereal, into the spiritual realm when we ate from that tree of fruit, that fruit of knowledge, man. We gained that knowledge of what's righteous and what's spiritual and what's wrong, And we always had the choice to choose between the three, but we never did know what the three were that we were going to choose from, and now we do, And so it's unfortunate that few of us choose what's right. But we're learning about that. That's what we're learning, And in a lot of ways, those ancestors we got, they're still swinging up in those trees like that, mocking us while we're out here stumbling around our two legs trying to stand upright. We're going to do it, and then when we stand upright and we start walking, we use our hands and everything. We get the tools in our hands that we need to build the kingdom of God that God intends here. That's when them ancestors swinging the trees, they could be healed, They come on down, they can join us, they can walk upright too, Put that shit down, They can start picking the weeds out of their garden, internally in their spiritual space on their own instead of picking the fleas off each other's backs, And that'd be a beautiful thing, right? That's what we're doing here. Right? That's what we're doing here, And I'm not saying that, sometimes we got to pick fleas off each other's backs, That's what it is to be a healer, right? That's what it is to be somebody who's a savior. That's what it is to be somebody who has their righteous cause that's on their righteous divine path, that's in the divine light of God that's here to heal, right? We know how to pick fleas. We know how to pick ticks, We know how to do all that shit. But what we're trying to do is teach everybody how to decoct that shit, that evilness, So it's like, again, you pick them ticks, grind them motherfuckers up, make a paste out of them, and spread them all over something so them ticks ain't attracted to you no more. You got to alchemize that shit into something good, that's something that's positive, right? And that's what we're teaching here. That's what God taught me. That's what good Lord taught me. That's what Spirit told me that in the messages that they've delivered. Was them lessons to stand upright, to learn to alchemize, to be an alchemist, And where we went wrong, where I went wrong, where we all went wrong was that alchemy started to become a thing about gold, and it never has been about the metals, Never. Like they were just the conduit. They were just the wire that had the. They were just the. Gold is everywhere. Gold is in its colloidal form. Gold in a salt form or whatever. Like gold is everywhere on Earth. It's the ethers are made out of gold. That's the conduit that all the wisdom travels on. That's the that's how it all works, right? It's like the mycelium of the mushrooms. It's the hard wiring. It's the gold. And that's why it's everywhere. It's in our air. It's in the water. It's everywhere. It's all around you. They lie to you, but it's just so tiny. It's so small that you can't make it actually. It's just in the earth, really. It's in the ethers. It's all around you. You're covered in it. It's in you. It's in the ocean. And so, like, that's just the hard wiring. And anyways, it's probably time to pull some coins because I forgot what the hell I was saying. So, Spirit, forgive me, man. I know it's a little late. Probably should do this back, get a little stoned, right? Up throughout the day, man. Smoke up in my fucking head. Spirit don't make me. Thank you for the attitude, Spirit. Thank you for knowing, Spirit. Thank you for looking at the things happening and finding everybody do. You certainly make the man over you. Especially when you refuge and taking out where the God doing it. You don't put me on, just tell me what I'm thinking, what I'm thinking for me. You know what I mean? Don't do much. You can't even know what I feel. Fuck, man. That's them fucking showbiz pizza place over there again, You see me shake these coins up, right? And there's only one in there, man. And so, like, them motherfuckers, man, seriously don't like them. Seriously don't like them, But then we got the, see, it's that silver case. So this is the, this is like the high ones, but the high ones in their intellect with this air energy right here in the silver coin, right? And so that's like the divine feminine energy. That's the divine feminine energy in their leadership position in like government roles as the empress, and so that's like a very high ancestral energy too, It's like that's high leadership. That's the kind of leadership that we want in charge because that's a silver coin. And so that coin right there, that coin doesn't even have to be backed by a government. Even if the government broke, it's still worth more than what it is at face value. You know what I'm saying? And that's divine, man. And so that's good. That's good. And that's coming out over here by the sun. And so earlier today, earlier last read I did, we had that Earth Angel energy with the buffaloes coming out by the sun, right? And that light, but they weren't being heard, remember? Like they were feeling like they were going a little bit extinct and shit, And so they were feeling like they had the wisdom in them, but they didn't feel like the chief was doing their job, remember? Because like they were in that buffalo position, the chief was on the other reverse side, so they're kind of like wondering, well, hey man, our herds aren't being managed properly, we're not being heard, our wisdom's not being heard. But maybe now, Spirit God heard that prayer, that we were saying when that word was spread. And so maybe now Spirit God's saying, well, we're going to put these motherfuckers out here in a position maybe to where they gotta listen to these individuals out here that are in that earth angel energy, because our earth angels out here are trying to save the world, man. And that's the truth, And so God's trying to say that, but that don't mean they're listening, That's what God's trying to say. That's what God's trying to tell us. And again, man. Again, there's only one of these. There's only one of these, this one right here now, too. There's the shadow right here where I'm at. Isn't that heads you win, tails you lose? Fancy in the flesh coin, right? But if I move this thing right here, that fucking thing, it kind of looks, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. It looks like it's got a nose on it. It's supposed to be an ass, and it's supposed to have boobs on it, too. So it just looks a little different, right? Like it's not necessarily a man or a woman, but that's that fantasy in the flesh shit, Like it keeps coming out here, And it's like with these showbiz pizza motherfuckers over here, Like, we've already established that their pizza's no good. And so, like, they want, fuck, man. I'm tired of reading this energy right here, tired of this shit right here coming out, man. I really am, you know. And that's actually, see, because like that, this is our energy. Like right now, it's like we're like, fuck this shit, yeah. Really, because like these motherfuckers out here, these motherfuckers, they know their shit ain't working, man. Like they're getting called out. Is what it is, you know. And it's like, because like so this is the sun over here where the fire is, you know. And so this is that divine energy right here. This is that divine leadership. This is we the people in our higher selves in union, collectively agreeing with each other, you know, because that's that air energy. That's the eagle right there, you know. But this is a silver eagle, you know. So that eagle's got wings; it can fly, and that's us. We the people, man. That's us. That's our liberty. That's our thinking. We all know damn good and well. We're like, man, look, fucking this shit. We're sick and tired of everybody acting like they're fucking selling their ass out, you know. Because that's like on Instagram, like I was just talking about earlier, you know. On Instagram. That's that fantasy of the flesh shit that I'm talking about. And so it ain't necessarily like you're like going down and whoring your ass out, you know? It's not like that. But at the same time, the way people are about shit, it's like everything is about like the temptation, or it's like trying to be tempting. It's like you're trying to make yourself appear tempting instead of just being fucking real, you know? Everybody wants to get likes instead of fucking getting dislikes, you know? But nobody's even willing to give dislikes too, you know? It's like, come on now, let's do some dislikes also. But the whole fucking likes game is ridiculous. It's gotten out of control. And so people are really flaunting their shit out here. It's like with women and stuff, you know? I love women and everything. But men are goofballs about the physique of a woman, you know? They're easily chumped over that shit, you know? And so it's like low-hanging fruit. It's easy to... if you're a woman, to get attention from a man because you have a sexy figure, you know, we all know that. That's fucking easy to do, right? And so that's kind of low-hanging fruit. That's fantasy of the flesh coin, you know? But that's tells you lose. It's fresh mint and lemon balm out of the garden. It's very yummy. It was good. Stole a cup from my brother. I always forget about this one. Insulated though, it's good one. Fuck you, Jacob. Motherfucker. Got your cup, bitch. Love you, brother. But you know? And so they're out here. That's what that showbiz pizza fucking is. It's like those Chuck E. Cheese motherfuckers, them showbiz pizza motherfuckers, that they're out here promoting this world image of yourself, where you're kind of like that, like this whore Babylon shit. Like, you know, it's like you don't really respect the things that God respects, you know, anymore, because that's not what they're promoting. I mean, no, that's by a long shot. That's not what they're promoting. Those motherfuckers eat demonic pizza, man. Seriously, demonic pizza, you know. And so they need everybody to kind of backburner their morals and shit, and kind of be in this fucking this fantasy in the flesh addict vibe, you know. But it tells you lose, because your intuition's telling you that shit's a losing fucking game. They just want to put your ass on a platter and serve it up at one of these weird parties like that Diddy motherfucker, you know. And that shit's sick, you know. It's just not right, you know. They're out here just trying to prey on fucking everybody, and so now everybody's like becoming that themselves on this smaller scales, you know. And so it's like, the only way that we can defeat that shit is when we try to show everybody how strength lies in standing in the light, you know? It's not cool no matter how much coin Diddy has, no matter how much fucking coin or influence guys like Trump have. It don't fucking matter, man, because the shadows that are in their closets, the skeletons that they got in their fucking closets, man, are these showbiz pizza motherfuckers over here, you know? And they can't hide under the mushroom. Their shit's so fucking obvious, and the mushroom won't even accept them. He can't live out here like I do. They can't live out here like I do. Epstein and Diddy and all these worthless piece of shit motherfuckers, they can't live with God. They can't get down in the fucking grit, know what the cycles are, knuckle fucking down, get through a fucking winter out here on solar, you know, barely any electricity, fucking having your water shit freezing up, and fucking being fed by most guys, eating fucking natural greens and fucking sheep that you butchered off the land, you know? Raising your own stuff in your fucking garden, man. These motherfuckers, they can't keep it real, you know? These are showbiz pizza motherfuckers. This is Totino's Pizzas rotting your fucking gut out and it's giving you colon cancer while it's raping your children, too. And killing your children. Giving them fucking diabetes and all this other fucking bullshit, man. That's the real world. It really is, you know? This is the world you all fucking swim in. And none of you are opening your eyes up to realize that. Y'all want to belly up to the fucking pizza, but you don't give a fuck what they're doing out there behind the kitchen, you know? And that's just fucking stupid, man. I already told y'all what's gonna happen with that pizza joint. I was just out here, I woke up here from my nap about 6:30. I went out and tried to get something done. I fucking slept all day. I mean, and whatever, man. I work a lot of hours, but so I went out. I burned a bunch of brush. And that brush, it does a great job when fire does a great job cleaning up that brush. It really does. You do a lot of work fast. And then fucking motherfuckers down there in them pizza joints, they're no different than that brush out here underneath my fucking forest, underneath my trees, man. They call that canopy fuel, because it's ladder fuel, because you want to keep your forest floor clean down underneath the trees, because the fire, if it doesn't get up in the canopy of the trees, then the fire doesn't ever get really hot. It can't really burn. It can't really spread, And so when you clean your forest should always be open, open with grass and like some ferns and stuff underneath it, and maybe a little hazelnut and shit like that, some brush, a little bit of hazelnut stuff. But any of these like real big ones, like I was clearing the manzanita, but here I'm cleaning out the little Doug firs, it's like the 15, 20-year-old Doug firs. They're just a little Christmas tree, but like straight down to the ground, they'll have a bunch of dead tinder underneath them, In the summertime, they go up like dynamite, and so you got to get in there and you got to cut that shit out. All of that stuff out, but as long as you got that out and you just have big trunks and grass, that fire comes through real quickly, but it doesn't burn anything up. You're safe. You can protect your structures and stuff, and you're good to go. And so these piece of shit pizza fucking motherfuckers over here, these fucking stankin' ass fucking anchovy dick fucking piece of shit motherfucking chobos, hiding in their little fucking showbiz pizza, their Chuck E. Cheese pizza, their fucking bullshit, right? Their 25-cent rides. These little motherfuckers right here, they're that brush, that when some stupid fucking bitch walks out of that pizza joint and flicks their cigarette down on the fucking ground, it catches fire in that brush. It's gonna burn all of our houses down, man. But we got them all in stupid places because they want to go fucking all gather in these goddamn fucking pizza joints and shit, like a bunch of fools do their sick shit. And then now we just gotta get them caught up on that. And that's boarded up them fucking walls around them. That's boarded up them windows and all them doors. And that's saying, hey, motherfuckers, we're gonna burn that pizza joint to the fucking ground. We got you now, And we got leadership that's saying that they're gonna do that. They're saying that they're gonna bring this shit out of this fucking moon energy and into the fucking open. But then they got their asses on the line. That's why it says tails you lose. Because if they tell the fucking truth, they're exposed right along with these motherfuckers. Because the mushrooms ain't gonna let neither of them stank ass bitches fucking hide out there, man. And that's truth, And so we're over here in the sunlight, us divine ones, the chosen, Earth angels, the chosen, the divine ones, God's chosen people, God's chosen ones, God's divine, powerful spirits, God's transformers, man, that are going to come together and make that one big fucking bad motherfucker. What was his name, man? I can't remember what his name, Megatron, right? Something like that, I think. And that's what's fucking happening. That's why we're over here in the sun. And then, see, this is the Earth angels abundance over here because, see, God's been building our abundance here on Earth. That's the pig's tooth, right? But that's that natural abundance. That's that real life abundance. So that's that shit. Like, we got motherfuckers out here right now that are spreading toxicity, not with this sexual fucking bullshit, this cult sexual shit that they're fucking slinging on us, that are causing all this grief, fucking our children and stuff, But they've been trying to damage Earth, right? So they've been trying to take away the abundance that pig tooth represents from Earth and Earth's ability to present to us, the chosen ones, its true abundance, because God knows about land of milk and honey all day long, man. That's what God does, And so right now, these bastards, they've been out here spraying poison all around the globe, all over in the air, And they're with them chemtrails, And they're putting all this shit in the water and everything, right? And they're fucking it up, and they're putting fluoride in the water. Everybody's drinking and everything. So they're trying to disconnect you from God by polluting the atmosphere that's around you. That's that dock in the field, That's that dock. That's how they work with you. That sexual stuff is they make you have a shadow, a deep root that's shadowed, and so your greeds are overpowering the positive good shit that's on Earth that God provides for us fucking naturally, because it's that shadow shit. It's that it's an invasive fucking species, And so that's what they're doing with chemtrails and by putting all this plastic and all this shit in our water and everything. Because the more that they put those contaminants in there, the more diluted the solution becomes, and that puts division between us, the chosen, and God, and the higher spirits that we communicate with. And so that's how they're trying to fuck us up right now. And so, but God is telling us, look, your earth is yours, like earth is yours. That's why that pig's tooth is right here where it's at. They're saying, hey, just chill, don't worry about it. Earth is yours. God says I can heal everything, and God can. Time God says always, always, always. All I'm worried about is my 144. That's all I'm worried about. That's what God says. It says, hey, so we ain't saving them all, and but it ain't. It's like we ain't saving them all, but still we need them, But and so we got to figure out how to clean them all up. It's like we're chosen here because see these spirits, energy. It's never created or destroyed, And so we all occurred with that Big Bang. It's just that these other the negative energies, they're kind of a drag, They don't want to keep up with the rest of us, man. And so we got to get them to keep up because if we don't, that's something that drag, it's going to hold the whole fucking thing back. And God's really powerful, but right now God's straining to keep that fucking bang going, because God's really trying to keep that fucking shit pushing and rolling because that's what God does, But these other motherfuckers are kind of dragging. That's like them fleas on the back of God, And so it's God ain't got nobody to pick them fleas off the back of them, And so we as the chosen right now need to wake up and we need to do that. That's our job. See, we got to pick them fleas off the back of God, man. And so how we do that is that we teach them fleas that they're not fleas, We teach them fleas how to be mighty ass motherfucking lions just like we are, and how to be like God's steeds, They get out in front of that carriage, God's the carriage. And we pick them fleas off the back, we flick them out front there, and then they become a mighty steed because they know now, they see the light of God, and they know what the fucking force of God is. They're ahead of it, but they're pulling, And so they're pulling and God's pushing, and then this thing's fucking expanding how it's supposed to, and we all get to become mightier and more powerful and more brighter and more even greater fucking creations in the eyes of God, Lord Most High, man. And that's what we're fucking doing here, And sure, it plays out in this little place, Earth, but it's no little game, We got a lot of stake. We got a lot at stake here, Really, really, And it's not like on that Matrix movie where that guy says, even though I know this steak ain't real, I don't give a shit, right? Because I still eat steak, I'm not talking about steak like that, In this game, the stakes are high for the Matrix and for the motherfucking real ones, But see, we're flipping this shit because where the Matrix manages all these energy monkeys, all these energy cows, because that's all they are now. The Matrix is just milking them for their fucking energy because they're kind of blanks, and they don't realize exactly what the hell. And so they could, it's like if you had a cow, if you milked out one teat, it produced fucking good milk. If you milked out the other teat, it produced rotten milk, Well, these motherfuckers, they just want to get fed grain. They don't care. They just want their head in the nose bag. So they're like, hey, yeah, whatever, man. Put some grain in that bag. I'm standing here. You can milk whatever teat you want. And so the Matrix, it's milking that tit that's fucking giving shit milk. It's milking that tit that's fucking got mastitis. It's all fucking nasty and shit like that, It's not good milk. And it's not even stripping it out all the way. It's just leaving a little in there so it stays that way, all rotten and nasty, man. And so we the chosen ones, we got to get that shit fucking cured up and start milking them fucking good tits on these motherfuckers because they're still energetic cows. That's all they're ever going to be. That's how God created them. And that's why God said, hey, we still need these chumps, we do. But we got to get them on the right path. We need to be drinking milk out of them that's good. We got to have good energy coming off these motherfuckers so that we can feel this empire that I'm building in a positive manner. And then the devils can't be drinking that fucking rotten milk because that's what they like, And so that's why we're here, man. We're here to tend God's fields. Because they're all batteries, just like we are. But I'm a supernova, just like you. And so it's just a little different, you know. And so we can make big bangs, you know. We ain't like fucking, we ain't Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We're motherfucking something else, you know. Shush, no way it's gonna be the bang that's felt around the globe, man. Felt all the way around the damn Milky Way, you know. And that's what you're gonna do too. That's what every one of us is gonna do because it's high time for that shit. It's time to ascend, you know. Daddy wants to come home. Time to ascend, you know. And you should be excited about that because hey, you know, first off, you made the cut. That's a hard cut to make, you know. Like I said the other day, I don't know how big the world is, but I don't know how many souls there was made. But I said that. I don't know how many you can fit on this motherfucker because I don't know. I don't know anything. I only know what Spirit tells me. But there's a lot of them out here, and only 144,000 of us was chose. You know, man. So that's a hard cut to make. That's a hard cut to make. I don't know. You know, I kind of feel that I think that we're seeing it. We're seeing it right now. I'm thinking they've dumped the vaults out here. You got every single one of us squirming on this motherfucker, you know. It's do or die. They want to see what we got, right? They're done with that shit. That it's like the ascension process. It's time to ascend and be a higher one and understand what that means before we destroy everything that's around us. And so the opportunities to reincarnate are gone. It's now. It's like die or live forever, motherfucker. You know, it's like live forever or die, you know. And that's what it is because it's like we're not going to be able to just die and come back and fuck this shit up all over again. There's not enough space left for that, you know? So they're like, empty the vaults, put them out there, let's see what they're made out of. You know? Spirit? What the fuck's up with these Chuck E. Cheese ass motherfuckers over here in this show, baby? Fuck the pizza coin, man. Them motherfuckers, man. I'm fucking shit. I'm telling you. I fucking really hope that you guys are dealing with them square, man. I want them to be exposed, you know. I want them to have to be really exposed, you know. I think they should make them have to be in the stockhold, you know, or whatever they call it things, back in the old days, you know. They put your head there, put your hands there, you bend over in public, just leave you there, you know. Anybody do whatever the fuck they want to. That's what they need to do, these sick fucks, you know. They don't need to be breaking them out of jail and pretending like they committed suicide, zipping them off somewhere so they just keep doing the same twisted fucking shit, you know. And everybody fucking... I mean, everybody entertains this whole idea, even that guy committed suicide. It's like, man, you fucking people are stupid, you know? It's like, go to jail, you know? Go to jail and see what that is about committing suicide. See how that goes, you know? See how far you're going to get to commit suicide in fucking county jail, you know what I'm telling you? It's fucking stupid, man. Spirit. Fucking stupid, man. Fucking why, man? Everybody buys it, you know. It's like everybody buy it because everybody's a fucking chomo too, man. That's what I wonder. That's really what I ask myself. I'm like, well, shit, man. Is everybody in their heads about like fucking being jealous over what Epstein was doing or whatever? And so like, they don't want to see that. You know, it's like everybody's like, oh yeah, no, because they don't want to admit to themselves. It's like, yeah, you're fucked up too, man. You're twisted, you know. Let's do it. Why does this show up as pizza coin here, pizza? Spirit. You know their pizza sucks, you know? They got fucking shitty pizza, man. It's fucking stupid. It's demonic, you know? Why do people want to eat demonic pizza like that, Spirit? Why do people like Hillary Clinton and fucking Bill Clinton and Barack Obama and all them motherfuckers want to put walnuts on their pizza? Because they just want to break everybody's heart, man. And this is amaranth, green amaranth, you know, which I'm not. Pigweed, yep. See, pigweed. Because they're a pigweed, yeah. Pigweed. Again, you know, it's amaranth. Amaranth is fucking good one, you know. But the pigweed especially, you know, that's like the native amaranth, you know. It has a really small seed in it. And so it's like, yeah, there's some value in that thing. It's got good, it's got protein in it and everything. But it's not optimum, you know. And the thing is that with them seeds, it's like mustard seed, you know. Amaranth fucking just like takes over, you know. It rules its kingdom, you know. Like it's again, it's like it cannibalizes on itself. It creates its own environment that with its leaves and stuff every season when it dies, because it comes into areas that disturb soil. So it's like they're opportunistic, you know. And they get in there, they got the little tiny seeds. They spread a ton of seeds in there. So it's like you rotate your garden, and if there's a pigweed in there, them seeds get your whole fucking garden, and then they just come up, man. So it's like you try to plant anything in your garden, and you gotta like what you gotta do is you gotta till it, and then you gotta let the pigweed sprout, and then you gotta go in there and you gotta till that again, And then generally with pigweed, especially, you gotta probably maybe do that 2 or 3 times. Right? It's called weed kill, you know. So it's like you just go in, you just row-till just the first 2 or 3 inches of soil, and then that kills them little seedlings, you know. And then you do it with your hoe. You don't gotta use equipment. You do whatever, do by hand, you know, however, whatever you gotta do. But you just do that a couple, 2 or 3 times, and then you plant your seedlings, right? And then of course it's good if you mark your rows, where then you come in and cultivate between the rows as your seedlings are germinating, and then you kind of know where your seedlings are at, because you're still going to have a ton of pigweed because just that one pigweed was in there, you know. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like, and this is 301s, you know, and so 301s is like, it's like collaboration and everything, you know. This is coming out in the upright, but that's like, it's like signing a contract too, you know. It's like these motherfuckers sign a contract with the damn devil, you know, and that mentality that when they sign that contract with the devil, because they're the showbiz pizza place motherfuckers, you know. And it's like showbiz pizza. I mean, just that name sounds shady. It's like, I mean, seriously, you know. Just because we all know about fucking Pizzagate, you know, and everything, and like that stuff's true, you know. There's a lot of facts in that. It's not just conspiracy theory. Everybody fucking knows this, you know. Everybody knows this, but they're treating it like a mockumentary, you know. They're treating it like a reality TV show, man. It's not. Yeah, Trump's reality TV star, and so we got an unreal motherfucker in there. It's none of it's fucking real anymore. But that doesn't get us away from the fact that it's not made up shit. Like, it seems so audacious. It seems so just fucking twisted. It seems so crazy that people would be down for doing shit like that, signing a contract with the devil like that, you know, and then throwing them seeds all over so that it just runs rampant in our society. I mean, what the fuck, man? And but it seems so like a movie that nobody believes it's real. And that's how they've duped us. That's crazy, you know. And that's fucked up. You know, we need to fucking realize that, and we need to not make that contract with the devil. Man. We need to realize, man. We can say no to that contract. We don't have to sign those papers. And we're not going to sign those papers because we don't fucking roll that way. And that's why we're the silver coin over here that's actually in the light, that's in the sun. Because even though there's not many of us, that coin, it's bigger than either of these two coins. And it's worth all of the value times a million of those coins. Those coins are useless. They're worthless now, you know. Like, there's no good in those coins. Like, they're useless. They're actually useless, you know. Whereas that coin right there, that silver coin, it just gets worth more and more money. The more that these two energies over here fail in their game and fuck everything up around them, that coin right there, that represents the divine ones, gains more value. And when this collapses completely around them, because everything that's done in the darkness, that every contract that we sign with the devil fails, you know? And so, like, these motherfuckers are guaranteed gonna fucking fail, man. Guaranteed gonna fucking fail, man. And so, like, when they fail, the only thing that's going to have value here on this table is that silver coin and that fucking pig's tooth over there, because that pig's tooth is the abundance that's provided to us naturally from fucking Mother Earth, you know, from Gaia, through God. That's the divine union that Spirit Most High has with their divine love, Gaia, you know. And so the prosperity that comes from their loins is massive, you know, and that's what's represented by that pig's tooth right there. Spirit, we hear about God's chosen ones over here, man. Let's talk about them, please. Why are they so damn beautiful, you know? So powerful and everything. Spirit, what's God say about His chosen ones? What's God want to tell us, His chosen ones, Spirit? Huh? We're out here, we're wondering. That's why we're in our air energy right now. You know? We're like, hey, what's God thinking? Yeah, God see us in this light over here. You know? We just want to know if God understands that we know how to stand in that light, you know. Reed grass, 10 cups, you know. And so, hell yeah. And God says, hell yeah, man. Fuck, I see you, you know. That's fucking, I see you, you know. Like, not like I see you, but like I see you, you know. It's like not emergency, it's a good thing. God sees you. It's I see you for these motherfuckers over here. I think that means something, right? Like emergency something, right? Or whatever. But God says not for us, man. We're Phragmites. We're that fucking reed grass, right? Reed grass is strong shit, yeah. Reed grass don't get burned up, you know. You got burned in a couple times, and it don't get burned up. It's like that fucking little mini version of them cattails because it like out here, you know, like the other grass that I have. There's like we have a native two-seeded grass. It's called, and we have that reed grass. A lot of reed grass in the wet spots, you know, where the clay is. And so when I burn, the reed grass kind of burns up a little bit, tops and everything, you know, but it's got like a hollow stalk, kind of like it's a reed, you know, so it's like a hollow stalk on it that's kind of like a thick, you know, it's like pokey, they'll poke you in the eyes, you know, and those they don't really burn up because they're wet, they grow in the wet spots, right? And so they got wet roots, they got a lot of motion. That's that 10 cups right there, God's reed grass, man. You like that? Yeah, we're right now, the divine chosen ones. We're really seeing that we fucking won, man. You know, it's like, believe it or fucking not, you know, it's like, nah, man, it's like really like, we gotta just keep going, you know, we gotta just keep listening to God, keep being in the sunlight that God put us in with that 10 of cups, you know, and be that silver coin. It's because like, this shit over here, this fucking fantasy in the flesh energy and the showbiz pizza fucking joint, Chuck E. Cheese piece of shit motherfuckers, you know, have got their fucking heads in their pants, man. They got their shit's just low energy, right? It's obviously so apparent now that we're all starting to see it, and those of us who haven't allowed it to prey on us so heavily that now we're victimized, you know. So those of us have been able to rise above it and see it for what it is. We're in our 10 of cups right now, and the whole world is gonna see us and turn to us for healing, you know. Like they're gonna see that like we don't judge, you know. They're gonna see that no, we're judged already by God, you know. Like I'm in 10 of cups. I'm in fucking divine union with Most High, you know. Like I've been judged, you know. Like I asked fucking for judgment, and God said, "Damn, that takes balls," you know. And they stepped up and they made judgment, and like they fucking are fair in their judgment, and they said that I had some shit I had to do, you know, because I was guilty too, you know, and like. But like God's loving God, you know, and God sees things all in a righteous way. And then God says, "Hey, man, you know, like, yeah, you judge too, you motherfucker, you know." But like God's fair. They know that everything's more than one-sided in life, and so it's like we make bad decisions because we all kind of influence each other that way, you know. But when we see the error in our ways and we call judgment with an open heart, and then we accept our judgment where we've been wrong. And we see that, and we complete probation. We do our programs. We do our fucking jail time and shit. We pay our fucking fines off. We pay our fucking restitution off, you know. And we get everything fucking done right. We get our fucking sobriety chips. We fucking get through the fucking programs, you know. We do what we're supposed to be fucking doing. And then we fucking heal, you know, and that's in Most High's court, you know. That's in the spiritual realm, you know. Like, 'cause we gotta do that shit there too, you know. It's not just here, you know. This is the physical, you know. And so when we go through that shit here, I guess that maybe will teach us how to do that a little bit more better in the fucking spiritual. And that's why sometimes that the road to of ascension, that road to God Most High, to that seat, to your throne. Next to God Most High, can be a rough road, man. It can, you know. It has its struggles. But not anymore. Not anymore. Not anymore, man. Made it home, you know. Made it home. So congratulations, you know. And I'm happy that you're here with me. We're going to have us a feast, you know. Why is this Tails lose out here, Spirit? I know I ain't losing. I ain't losing my ass. There ain't no fucking way we ain't losing our asses. We're our God's abundance, you know. Yeah, it tells you this because it's at Burdock right there. See, I mentioned it just loaded, you know. It keeps coming out. The Queen of Wands in reverse, you know. So it tells you lose, man. Yeah, so if you want to sell your ass out in the streets, then you're gonna get your ass sold out on the streets, and that's where that root, you know, grows down there so deep, you know, that you got all that shadow in you, and you're gonna try to be blocking out the light from God's chosen ones. They're trying to block their paths, you know. With that fucking selling them that fucking tells you lose that fantasy in the flesh vibe because you got showbiz pizza over here and you want them working for you, you know. And so fuck that shit with this 3 of Wands and the Amaranth. You want them to be one of your seeds, you know, and you're just a wicked ass fucking devil worship piece of shit that has fucking been putting children on your altars for a long time and continues to do so. You fucking drink their blood, man. You think you're cool with your adrenochrome? You're a fucking vampire and you're a fucking piece of shit and you're gonna go down. We're going to fill your belly up so fucking fat with pizza that it gets bloated out so fucking big, and we're going to kick you in it. You're gonna split in two, and that's what you fucking deserve, like that two-headed snake we're talking about, you know? And this bitch over here is gonna cry about it all fucking day long. She's that little Babylon whore riding on that fucking wounded serpent. And they all are gonna go down the same, you know? Tells you lose. Tells you lose, there's no doubt about that. Why is this pig tooth here? Well, come on now. We know why pig tooth shows up. Fucking pigs are everything abundant, man. That's why they, in them churches they got, you know, they try to teach us that, that the pig is, violent, foul, you know, it's vile swine or whatever, you know. And, that's just not the truth, you know. See, that's the king of spades right there. It's king swords, king of thoughts, right? That's that intellectual king. That's truth, you know. And so, like, with that guy right there in the upright position, that'd be the truth that they were telling you, you know. They'd be telling you the truth when they said that the pigs were vile creatures, stay the fuck away from them. Because they want to treat us like pigs, you know. They want to act like David casting their pearls in front of us all these years and that we're swine, you know. But that ain't even the fucking truth, man. That's just not the truth. That's why this king comes out in the reverse, you know. The king will never let them lies be spread like that about you and I and about God's abundance. And that's what's going to be shown here. They're actually trying to tell you, too, that God's abundance is a lie. They're trying to tell you that you got to collaborate with them with all this twisted shit, do all this fucking sick shit on their altars and everything so they can have abundance, so they can manifest abundance, so they can rob your energies and everything, and you put it in their pockets and make themselves rich. Because that's what they fucking do. By fucking... sending out fucking fear signals from the fucking children that they torture, by sending out fucking fear signals from the people that they enslave, you know, by sending out fear signals every time they give you a late bill, every time they give you some reason that you think they're going to take some money from you that ain't worth fucking jack shit in the first place, man. Every time they fucking make you feel small or fucking little, or every time they make you feel sick because something they're fucking selling to you is making you sick, you know, that's these motherfuckers right here. They're lying to you, is what God's telling you. And they know that too, you know, and that's why they're a bunch of fearful little fucking pricks over here, you know. And God is hiding the abundance that God's offering you in that pig's tooth in the world, you know. So you need to look towards the world right now and listen to the frequency of earth. You need to listen to the forest right now. You need to listen to the wild things that are around you, and you need to go where the wild things grow, you know. Because that's what's going to keep you alive right now, because these motherfuckers right here are trying to tip a hot pot over on everybody's head. It's going to burn everything around us, you know. And so you got to go where the wild things grow, man. And that's what God's trying to tell you. That pig's tooth over there. Don't listen to their fucking lies, you know. Don't ever listen to their fucking lies, ever. Don't ever listen to their lies, ever. Don't ever listen to their lies. Don't listen to their fucking king of fucking swords in the reverse, because that cocksucker, that individual, that motherfucker's lying to you. Cock-a-doodle-doo, right, you know. Like the rooster roars every morning at 3 a.m. But anyhow, I don't know. I don't know. Spirit knows. That's why Spirit runs their mouth through me, man. They do a good job of it. What about this amaranth over here, Spirit? This pizza joint, they put amaranth on their pizzas? Or they spread that shit in their fields, so we got weeds in our fucking fields, and our children are sick. They want weeds in our field. They want weeds in our fields. They want our children to be sick. Yeah, and so they just do that shit to fuck with your head. You know, they just do that shit so they do nasty shit like that right in front of you when they sign them contracts with the devil, because they want to make that seen and known to you. You know, they're like, look, we do business with the devil, and that gives us all these powers, so we get away with doing stuff that if you got caught doing, you're going to have a horrible, horrible, horrible future, you know? Like, you're going to get thrown in prison, they're going to do horrible things to you, and you're never going to get out, you know? And then we're going to slander you, destroy you, run your name through the fucking mud because you're not rich enough to play this game with us. And so we want you to think that you're not allowed in our club, you know? Hey, we don't want to be in their club. We don't. Promise you. We don't. I don't. And if you're watching my shit right now and you do, please exit out. You're not welcome here in this space. And so you're not a part of our club. You go be a part of their club, but you're not a part of our club, you know? We roll different, you know? See, like in this picture here, them my stained glass windows, And then perverted motherfuckers out there, their shit rotting off, they deserve what they got. That's God punishing them for being a bunch of fucking perverts in this fucking pizza joint over here that got burned down. That's how he fucking fucked himself up. Actually, see, this motherfucker over here, that broad right there, that's that Giselle Maxwell or whatever, that fucking bitch that's selling all them kids. She's walking in fucking shame next to this hobbled up motherfucker because he got burned in that fire too, you know? And that's true. And we're safe to have that stained glass, but they're fucking not allowed, you know? Over here in God's glory, man. That light coming through that stained glass windows right there, that's God's glory with that tin of cups, because we're sitting there basking in that light of God, drinking out of that fine wine that comes out of them cups that God gives us, man. We got 10 cups, that's God's glory, that's filled with God's glory. That's the sweetest shit you ever put in your mouth, man. And that's what them motherfuckers ain't never gonna taste, because they thought they wanted to eat that low-hanging fruit and leave us feeling like we're in 9 of Wands position. But that's not even what the fucking deal is, you know? That's not. We may have been. We have been. And they have had us in this energy. And God saw that. See, in this energy right here, this motherfucker right here ain't scared. He's bandaged up, but God put them bandages on his head. You know, God's like that motherfucker in a boxing match in the corner. You know, they can't see him, but, you know, that bell's getting ready to ring. But God's like, look, man, I got you all doctored up and everything. We got you ready to go. You drank some fucking water and shit. You got this, man. You fucking got this, you know, and that prize that you're going to win is all 9 of them fucking ones, and you're a mighty ass motherfucker, and when I see you win that, we're going to give you that 10 of cups over here, and then we're going to give you every fucking thing you need to carry the 10 ones that you fucking, you have, because you're a win, man. You're a winner, you know, and so it's like right now, you're standing there, and you got them 8 ones behind you, and they maybe think they got you back in the motherfucking corner or whatever, but they don't. You're going to turn around, you're going to whoop that ass with that 1 wand you got right there, and I'm going to be so happy with what you did, I'm going to give you a 10th wand. I'm going to show you how to carry that shit with that 10 cups over here and that fucking divine light that you're shining in, and you know that. You see that right now. You feel the warmth of the sun on your back. You know that Divine's got you, man, and they're playing hard for you. They're playing fucking 10 toes down. They're playing real game. They're playing real for keeps, you know. They're not fucking around with this shit out here no more. That's why you're the big coin on this table, and these two are the little coins, you know? And that's why you got your abundance on this table over here, and God's keeping it safe in earth and teaching us all and preserving us and our abilities to understand how to manifest that out of earth, you know, without having to buy it from these pigs. And that's true. God's taking us and separating us away from this broken heart, and they're putting us in a 10 of cups position, because that's how we're going to serve them best right now, because we're trying to teach this world that God is abundance, you know, and that we have a way out of this, and that only way out of this is being led through the darkness by the divine light of God, you know, and each and every one of us is a pinnacle in that, you know. Each one of us is a like a lighthouse on the shores, you know. And we're going to put in to this shit, you know, we really are. We're in that 10 swords energy. That's that energy that's saying, you know, God's over it. That God's really over them lies, you know. God's sick and fucking tired of it, man. That tells you lose. That's that tells you lose for this Queen of Wands over here at the burdock root, you know. So that's God taking them swords and then digging out of the back of that fucking motherfucker right there, them roots growing in the garden, that burdock root that's causing those burdock greens to over fucking take the garden and everything. And so that motherfuckers are missing out on that 10 of cups that they're being offered, because they're not seeing it, because everybody else's ego is standing in the fucking way. You know, because them burdock greens represent ego, right? And the roots that support them represent the shadow, right? That supports the ego, man. And so that's what that tells you lose coin is teaching right now. Somebody's realizing that tells you lose, you know, if you're going to be in that vibe where you got this big inflated fucking ego and you're going to work in your shadow, you know, and you're not going to understand what the root cause is of your fucking problems and stuff, then you're going to be tells you lose, you know, because you're rolling with that showbiz pizza crowd over there. You got a job working for them slinging pizzas, but you never asked what they're putting on the pizzas, and you should have. And so where we're fucking stepping inside right now, protected from the divine, protected while we're protective of the divine light as it protects us, you're locked outside of that. You're trapped outside. You gotta look at them windows, but you can't even see in, and hobbling around because you got burned up by that fire. Somebody set fire to that pizza joint and fucking y'all got fucking trapped out in the cold. And that's what's happening. And I like that energy. I love that energy. I really do, because there's been a lot of stagnant energy regarding these situations right now politically in our country and in our families and in our interpersonal relationships. Honestly, if you ask me, that's what I've noticed. This burdock root. What's up with this burdock root? How do we make burdock so it's not bitter? Man, that'd be cool. The greens are beautiful and everything. And they're edible, but they're bitter, man. They really are. Yeah, see? So this card right here, this is the reap what you sow card, like that's what that says, because that tells you lose. Because the burdock root is like in the reverse, especially, is that it's like stuck in its shadow. It's not even really trying to shine, And so it's really letting the shadow control the ego that's in it, above it. And so the seeds that it's producing are just taking over the garden rampant around it. And so the crops that they're waiting on right now, they might think that those crops are something else, but as they grow up, they're going to realize, oh, fuck, that's just more burdock, because they didn't remove that shadow. So, like, if they were the other way around, so that'd be that you reap what you sow, that would be God's promised harvest for you, And so it's like, sure, it's not coming in right now. You're still waiting on it, but you can wait confidently because you can see for a fact it's been secured, and you know that it's not burdock, and you've done your shadow work and everything. So you remove the roots in your garden, and so it's not gonna you're not gonna have anything come up inside of yourself that's gonna stand in the way of your abundance that God that you've worked very hard with God to manifest, right? And so now you've waited very patiently, and you're tending your field. You got that hoe in your hand. Because you're just sitting there waiting. You're like, well, maybe I missed a little piece of that burdock root or something somewhere, and it could take up and they'll grow, and I don't want to block my blessing, man. And so I'm not gonna try to harvest my blessing prematurely. That's not what that tool's for. That tool is to protect that blessing until it comes to fruition and it has the seeds in it that God wants to you to sow next year. And so you're just trying to make sure that he's like, yeah, I've done a lot of root work here and everything. I've gotten rid of a lot of that ego, and I've worked out really hard on trying to clear my space and everything so that there's plenty of airflow and that all the good plants that God's planted in my garden can thrive. But I want to make sure with vigilance that shit don't come in here, that shadow stuff, and that toxicity from my ancient ancestors start planting those fucking weed seeds in my garden and cause me grief. I got my hoe now. I know how to protect it. I know how to protect what I have, But in the reverse, this Queen of Wands, this burdock energy, see, they're not in that vibe, They're in that burdock vibe, They're in that vibe of like same above as below, but what's below is in the shadow, And that's not good. That's not where any of us want to be, And that's what we're all trying not to be, because that's what blocks us. Because if you see here, the abundance that's available to this Queen of Wands in the reverse, to this burdock can be very abundant, and it is very abundant when when it has to kind of compete with God's green earth, honestly, like the burdock, it kind of like it'll kind of like travel with us, like it's a wild plant. But yet it's kind of like it's like dogs, it really travels with humans, and so wherever we go, we disturb stuff, and eliminate what's there native, what grows native in those regions, and then the weed seeds that we bring with us, they dominate those areas where we've disturbed it, So if we go in, we clear cut a fucking place or whatever, that disturbs the soil, it kills a lot of the native foliage, and then the weeds take over from that. Or if we run our cattle really hard through somewhere, the same thing happens, or if we go in and we till a bunch of ground and farm it that way with our with equipment and stuff like that, that also makes it so it's like our toxicity, our inability to respect and to live within the respectful realms of what God's abundance provides us is what creates these populations of burdock and of the weeds and stuff that over dominate then the crops that we're trying to sow. You know, it becomes competition for us, and that's what we do in our own spiritual realm. You know, when we don't properly manage our fields within, we make ourselves vulnerable to having weed populations come in and take over and dominate in our space. And then we got to take radical measures to remove those weed seeds. And sometimes we got to burn the whole fucking field, you know. And when you do that, you might burn up some of the things that you didn't want to, you know. You got to be careful. And that's why it's really important that you listen to God over here in this high energy, you know, because you understand this shit. Your intellectual capacity is fucking refined enough that you know what I'm talking about. And so you learn that through that wounded warrior energy because you fought your battles and you know that God helped you. And so you're like, fuck, man, I have only one thing that I need to please, you know. There's only one back that I need to worry about pulling ticks off of, and that's God's, you know. And so that's why you got that 10 of cups right there. And you're blessed because of that. And I'm happy for you, you know. And I share that with you because I also am in that position. And I'm really happy for you because I know, man, it feels really good, you know. That's a vibe that you go anywhere with, you know. Honestly, like to be in that divine energy with your head on, you know, and with them eagle's wings so that you could fly, you know, like that with that 9 of wands energy though, so that you have awareness, you know. But then when God is like saying, hey, you know, you know how to fight your fucking battles, so I know that you can defend this 10 of cups, and I know that you have the wisdom of the eagle now, you know, and you soar above, you know, and like you have such value that you see everything in the world from a place of value, you know. And that's what they're trying to do with us, and that's what this Queen of Wands in the reverse over here, that's what Burdock needs to learn, you know. It needs to know its fate. It needs to know its place. Like, it's not a fucking eagle, man. It's not seeing the whole picture, you know. That Queen of Wands doesn't see the whole picture, you know. And that's why they're easily duped, you know, because these this showbiz energy over here is just they want to drag other motherfuckers along with them down that path that keeps them on the outside of them fucking windows, not on the inside where the divine light shines, you know. And it's warm there, you know, the divine light. And you don't gotta huddle around, and you don't let some fucking broken up fucking jizz laying fucking bitch, you know, Maxwell bitch, has been fucked up by her dad her whole fucking life, leave you around where you get your shit all burned up too, you know. You know, because like if what's his dick did commit suicide, you know, which I know he didn't, and I don't think he was murdered either, you know, but I guess that's a possibility. But nah, I don't think so, you know. He got out, and so she got fucked, I guess. But that's why she's all got her head hung down and fucking crying about it, you know. But why should she be surprised? I mean, you know, like they fucking disappeared her daddy too. She should have fucking learned a long time ago, man. But that's the problem is like when these amaranth motherfuckers over here at that showbiz pizza joint, when they get you to go working for them, they lead you down that path where you're making fucking choices. Nothing works out for you, you know, and it tells you lose. And you don't get none of this fucking pork chops over here. You don't get none of this fucking bacon over here, you know. God's got bacon. God's got the whole world filled with bacon. This world is bacon, you know. Fucking all the way, man. The abundance of the earth is fucking immense. Immense, you know, and God create, see, and there's never going to be any heartbreak, you know, and that's where that heartbreak, see, we're freed from that heartbreak now. That's what God's saying right there with that. God's saying, nah, tell you what, we got your abundance, you got everything you need over here, where you don't got to be fed any fucking lies. You're not going to listen to their fucking lies. You're not going to listen to their lying fucking kingdoms. You're not going to listen to their lying fucking kings. You're not going to allow them to break your fucking heart. You're protected. Your abundance is protected. It's secured. It's far, far away from these sick and twisted motherfuckers over here who just ain't doing the right fucking thing, you know? And they're just not thinking straight. And they're not, and this is like, they could go ahead and they could bomb themselves to smithereens, but they're not going to kill Earth, you know? And that's what's happening right now. And so it's like they want us all to believe that they're powerful enough that they could take us with them, you know, on this fucking journey that they want to go, which is away from the abundance that God offers over here, you know. That they want to be lion kings, they want to be lion queens, they want to be fucking like all this bullshit, instead of just being in the pocket of God like the divine chosen ones over here at that 10 of cups, you know. And so they're trying to con everybody into playing their game. The Queen of Wands in the reverse, sure, that bitch falls for it because like that's Burdock, you know, and like Burdock, again, you know, there's a lot of ways. Burdock has value. Everybody has value, even if you're in this Queen of Wands in the reverse position and tells you lose. with the seven of coins in the reverse, right? So like even if you're in this energy right here, which this is like, yeah, you know, that's fucking a lot of us are in that energy right now. I mean, we're in that energy one way or another, kind of, you know, or hopefully we're in a position where we can kind of see that we're in that energy, because that's the thing. It's like in order to get to this energy over here, because like right now, this is in the intuition of this individual, you know, like that. So a lot of us that are in that energy are realizing it. We're seeing it for what it is, you know, and we're trying to separate ourselves from the energy over here that's just kind of fucking become fungal, you know. Like you're realizing it's a fungus, but it's like not a good mushroom. It's like a foot fungus, you know. And so to get into this energy right here, see, we gotta realize that it's like, yeah, they got a couple good blows on us, you know, but God has us and is gonna carry us all the fucking way because we're their silver coin, man. We're that silver eagle right there flying high, man, with the wisdom of everything, you know. And we're gonna enlighten it because when we get by that sun, we shine back down on earth with that shiny silver quarter, you know, and then we put that light right in their eyes. And they gotta see it, and that's what God hired us to do. That's what God hired you, you know. That's damn good well why God hired me, and I'm trying to represent that well. So you go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, you know. That's what they say around here, right? We're trying to get the word out. And so, but if you know, I love it, man. Comments are great. I love the comments, you know. Fucking whatever, say whatever. If you don't agree, say you don't agree. I don't know. Be alive, you know. That's what I want. I would like to see more of on YouTube. Honestly, is just more of that, like, you know, because I feel that like. The thing is, like with Instagram and all that shit, everybody's kind of trying to pitch woo, or it's like family or whatever. So there's like a little bit more emotion kind of in the social interaction of the aspect of it. But like with YouTube, I think everybody's a lot more serious about their product, but but they don't really it's less personal, you know, where it could be a little more of a space that people could be like serious about their product and then interconnect to a little bit more, maybe spread the word a little more like that or whatever, you know. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but that's what I think about with it, you know. It's like, it's not about, I mean, I don't even look at like, I don't know, it's not about making money and like all that shit. Like that's a crazy concept to me anyways in the first place. I don't even know how that works, you know. But like, it's about like, you know, for me, I don't know. It's just, it'd be nice to see people get really fired up, you know, about this stuff, right? The purpose, you know. Yeah, purpose. You know, like I was saying, man. I mean, yeah, instead of doing things for money, just do things for purpose. You know, like that's what I'm trying to be in life, is like way more intentional. You know, and not even worried about what anybody fucking thinks but God. You know, like I don't give a fuck, man. I'm gonna be me, man. I'm just gonna fucking be me, as how like God makes me. You know, because God made me on purpose. You know, like God made you on purpose, and so when we're like unexcusably fucking us, that makes God just tickled, you know? Like, I mean, that makes God so fucking happy, man. Like when we allow that to happen, you know? And these motherfuckers are the shadow workers, you know? Like, they're in the shadow. Everything they do, they want to do it in secret. It's like I say, you know, they throw rocks and hide their hands without purpose, you know? Like, they're shitting underneath that fucking toilet seat and putting the lid down just to make a mess for somebody else to clean up because they have no purpose, you know? And it's like, we do have purpose, and that's the most biggest blessing ever. Like when God steps into your life and shows you the purpose that they have for you, you know, that's when you get that flexibility that really helps you stand in the light and then be a true worker of the light for the divine, for the God Most High, you know? And that's our mission, man. And that's what we're doing it. That's why we're coming out here with that 10 of cups, with that silver coin. And we're proud of ourselves. We really are, you know. And that's cool. That's something that I think that we've really needed, you know. Like I know I have. I know that that the universe has been really unflexible for me in a lot of ways. For a long time, you know, but only to make me better, you know. Like they've really made me. Like it's like the universe, the way they've approached me has always been like like do it. Okay, it's like good job, right? I'll do something. It's like good job, or but do it again, you know. So it's always like, well, do it again, you know. And then like that's because at the same time, I guess there's things that they're trying to remove from my life that I was seeing as successes. So it's like they were trying to keep me busy, you know, like they had me. They always were making me like stay focused on like trying to keep my ass on my path or whatever, you know, and then so that like I never succeeded with anything, you know, because I was distracting myself. But they kept giving me those opportunities to do it again, you know, to do it again, to do it again. Like so, like the closer I would get, like I would be humble because I had to start over a lot of times. But then the closer you get to success, then you get like less humble. You know, you're like, okay, well, yeah, okay, I know. And then that's where them fucking burdock greens, they start growing in the springtime, and then they start getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They choke everything out if you don't get rid of them roots. You know, and so that ego can get caught up on you, and then fucking ruin your garden. But the thing is with God, you know, God's like, it's not that you failed. They're just like, okay, do it again. You know. And so that's an opportunity, and I've learned to be flexible in that. Like God's made me realize that like God's very flexible because like to see somebody fail over and over and over because they can't manage their own space properly, but then still be like, instead of being like, get the fuck out of here, you're a failure, to be like, hey, do it again, you know, just do it again, like do it again. They stand there and they keep watching, they're like waiting, and they're fucking like, yeah, you're gonna get it. They know you're gonna get it, and that's God. God's awesome, man. The best, you know, not something to fear, not at all something to fear. No, see, not at all, man. It's something to be in communication with, and that's what I'm trying to teach here. You know, there really is. It's like I'm not trying to call anybody out. I'm not trying to be like nothing like karmic or nothing. I'm talking about you. You know, I'm talking about like how I talk to myself about me. You know, and like how I see the world around here. But that's how I communicate with God, because like God tells me the truth, you know, and that's the only truth that I know, because it's the only truth that time and time again checks out. It's always the truth, you know. First I know it intuitively, then God shows me. I'm trying to learn how to listen to my intuition so God doesn't have to show me, and that's gonna make God very very happy, because that shows that we're communicating, you know, that he that they're getting through to me, and that's what they want. That's all what they want, you know. And that's why they have so much flexibility. Like if you communicate with them, they're gonna hear you, and they're gonna show you the way to get it done that is within their righteous guidelines, you know, because they love you, man, and they have purpose for you. And so it's so important that we listen to their communication, because when they communicate to us, that's how they're telling us that you have purpose to them, you know. That's where they show you. And it's like, you gotta listen. It takes two to communicate, you know. It does, yep. See, you gotta show them the willingness. You gotta have the willingness to communicate with them too, you know, because they keep screaming at you or like knocking on your door, but if you don't answer, it doesn't do them no good, man. They're just talking onto a closed door, man. You gotta open that door up. They're not gonna push their way in like that. God loves you. They don't want to scare you. They just want to tell you the truth, you know. They want you to see the truth, because that's going to make you so much more powerful. That's what makes us powerful, you know. Their truth is powerful. God is the most powerful truth. Spirit is the most powerful truth, you know. And when we walk in that divine light with that confidence, and we let God in our hearts, you know, we don't question what's going on around us, and we can see the truth through the lies that are being told by these sick, twisted fucks out here, man. They're trying to stand in the way of all of the harmony that God has for us, you know. Because that's all God is harmony. And when you understand this, and you open your heart to this that I'm speaking of, you know, and you stop living in fear, you know, and you allow the harmony of God to come into your heart and into your space, you're free. Because heaven is on earth, you know, and it's within. And you have total control over that space within you, you know. That's the universe. That's your ultimate expansive space, you know. The everything that's outside of you is only an end, you know. The beginning lies within, you know. And that's your harmony. And that's the truth. That's God's truth. And that's God's celebration, man. Shit, you know. So, well, I like these little cards too. They've been kicking around here for a while. I never even really looked at them, but they speak truth, you know. But that's the way it is, you know. Like when you open that door with God, and you You allow them to come inside you like that. You know, you allow them inside you, and you go into that divine union with them. Everything around you speaks truth. You know, because God then starts to whisper in your ear because you're listening. And when you're listening, and you see that abundance that they have for you. You know, you don't never see yourselves like you don't have to go sell your ass here or even take that risk. You know how to remove that burdock from your fields, and you know where burdock belongs. You know how to make a decoction out of burdock. You know how to make medicine out of burdock, but you don't let it overtake your fields. And you know it's a bitch to work with if you don't work with it right. And so you're cautious, you don't get caught up with these pizza joint motherfuckers over here. In fact, you took a break off pizza. You just make your own pizza at home. Because you don't trust any pizza joint anymore. You're like, nah, man, I don't know, Once you get bad fucking beats off the salad bar once at a pizza joint, you don't go back to that pizza joint ever again, And that's just what it is because you're wise and you're an angel of God. You're chosen one, And you got God's 10 cups right now, eagle. So fucking spread them wings and fly, soar and show the whole world what God is, because that's what we're doing and that's how we're gonna make this beast fucking suffer, man. We're gonna make this beast go hide its head in fucking shame, and then we're gonna go slay that motherfucker because that's what we do, So y'all have peace in your hearts, and then whatever time time finds you, that this video finds you, I hope that you have a lot of peace in your hearts, and I hope I love you, man. I hope God loves you, and if you don't, I'm telling you they do, So peace out.